Giants 20, Washington 19. It feels good to say the Giants first in that. Welcome to Talking Giants. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. And so many people just heard that song as a part of our podcast for the first time, Justin, because we are the victors. To the victor goes the spoils. To the victor goes the intro. No more Loser by Beck. A lot to clean up. It was an ugly win, and we're going to talk about it. This isn't going to be a Giants, we're not going to kiss their ass like, oh, no, everything good because we won. There is some bad to talk about, but we're going to get into it. But, Justin, damn it, it feels good to be on the winning side after 6 weeks.
I mean, frankly, Bobby, we have about 15 people in our Patreon chat right now who are celebrating with us. We've had people that have been, with us through me coming on to Talking Giants. That's the first time I'm hearing the victory song as a co-host of Talking Giants. So I'm right there with everybody of our new listeners that we've had that we've gained through 2020. So I'm just excited for all of us. It was not pretty. A win is a win, and after the game was over, you feel like you feel dirty, you feel impure, but you want to know what? This football team, the thing that they were desperate most is just getting in a locker room after a game and not having to talk about a loss and not having Joe Judge in there for about 45 minutes talking to the team about, how they have to get back to work the next week, et cetera, et cetera. I'm most happy for us as a Talking Giants community.
Yes, for sure. And Justin, speaking of that community, we have a bunch of new members. I think our biggest jump in the old crew, Justin. This episode was brought to you by. Now this is going to be a lot. Well, first of all, we got Ando Buford. Buford. I might have not been able to say that one. Anyways, no one knows what's going on. We got Glock Roach. I don't know if that's a real name, but I like that name because we are a gun violence pod. Glock Roach. He's got the Glock and a Roach. Actually, that seems like a DeAndre Baker burner name, to be honest.
Also, maybe a fan of Papa Roach.
That could be true. Also likes to do drugs and shoot guns. Michael R. Do you know what the R stands for?
Riverboat Ron.
That's not what it stands for. We got Steven Go. The name ends right there, so I'm gonna assume that's Goskowski, right?
Yes, wanted to be a Giant.
That's true. We got Juke. His name is just Juke. He's Devontae Freeman on the first round of the game.
I was about to say he had Devonta Freeman had a few of those today.
We got Paul Clancy, Tom Clancy's brother. He's like us, loves to shoot stuff. People are like, why are they so obsessed with guns? I thought our good morning tweet was very classy this morning, by the way.
My mother did not like it. My mother did not approve. She's like, did you see this? I was like, yes. She's like, I didn't appreciate it. I'm like, okay.
We got Robert Tisk, Robert. These people are, by the way, very good luck. They're only Patreons for wins. We got Eric Singleman. How many times do you think he's heard the joke of like, oh man, you single man, huh?
I hope he's married with many children.
But he's still a single man. We got Nick, just Nick. Nick. Reminds me of the Nick Swartzen stand-up with talking about dogs versus cats. Isaac Moretta. I'll be honest. I was worried when we first did Patreon and Isaac Moretta wasn't in there. And then I saw his name and it brought a smile to my face. Isaac Moretta is quite literally a day one supporter. Like me and Danny with horrible audio was in there. So legit brought a smile to my face. And I talked to him. I was like, hey, I haven't noticed you online much. He's like, yeah, we suck, so I can't really talk trash. He was back on today. Glad to have you, Isaac. We got Jared Wenzel. I like that name. And then Matt Gilroy and Mike Halligan. I mean, we've spent about 20 minutes on names here. Anyways, Justin, who are these people?
All of these wonderful people are sponsoring today's show, and how they did that is they went to patreon.com/Talking Giants, and for $2 a month, you get access to our live recorded show or live access to shows as we record them, where we can celebrate wins and we can talk about wins and we can have a fun time. And you also get access to monthly shirt raffles, which we did some today on our pregame show on YouTube. We gave away 2 shirts.
Gasman and Michael R. Michael R is a brand new one. He got a free shirt, and then Gasman was the first day, like literally first day. So there's no discrimination with the shirt giveaway. So
no. So those people were nice enough, and guess what, Bobby? We had about, 11, 12 new Patreons this week, and we won. So guess what? We might need another 11, 12 Patreon members, and then we will win next week. Or this Thursday, excuse me. So this is how it goes. These are not the rules that I make. It's just how things are going.
To be honest, though, I'm starting to worry that we're getting too many Patreons and we're going to get canceled for something we say after the show. And we're going to have to start a new Patreon for... it's just never ending. All right, let's get into this game, Justin. It was ugly. We win by 1. The Giants Washington drives. Well, it's a tie game. They're driving. It's a 3rd down. We get the fumble return for a touchdown. Take the lead. They get the ball back, obviously, and drive down and score a touchdown. They go for 2. I actually like that call from Rivera, even though, hindsight's 2020. He should have kicked it and tied it. But I do like that. Rivera was aggressive. It got them a touchdown at the end of the half. But Justin, on the offense, it was ugly. It started out good. We only had 6 drives. I mean, where do you want to start? Because there's so much to unpack, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
We usually start on the offensive side of the ball, so I feel natural to go there. But do you want to switch it up since we won this week and start defense?
Yeah, let's start defense. You're right. Defense got us the victory, so we should give them the first start. They just played like this bend, don't break. Obviously, Julian Love, he gives up a touchdown at the end. He gets mossed.
Tough.
Was that? Yeah.
It was Logan Thomas.
Was that that was the last one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Adrian Colbert, missing him. Adrian Colbert's been a surprisingly good player for someone we got off the waiver wires.
We talked about him during the summer, and hopefully he could be back by Thursday. He keeps on getting hurt during practice. It's so tough because Julian Love is a good, talented young player. It's just that he's not playing in the right role. And Joe Judge can talk about square pegs and round holes all that he wants, but guess what? Somebody needs to be a box safety, and there can only be one guy that can be a box safety. There's only one guy that can be a strong safety. Somebody has to play free safety, center field. Somebody has to do it, no matter how much Joe Judge wants to talk about using guys to his strengths. So it sucks that Julian Love is a talented player, but he's kind of stuck in this role, and this is why we really need Adrian Colbert, because he fills that role well.
Yeah. So, like I said, they did get us a touchdown in a game-winning touchdown with Tay Crowder. Which, Justin, if that touchdown doesn't happen, I'm honestly feeling kind of down on Crowder. And I like what Crowder does. He had 10 tackles. But, man, he takes some really bad angles. You know what I'm saying? Have you noticed that? And it's not because it's not just like, if Mayo or someone like that gets to the sideline, it's like, okay, they're just slower. Crowder has the speed. He just kind of needs to learn his angles. I guess that's also part of him literally being a linebacker for only 2 years. He was a running back before that. Mm-hmm. He's only played 2 years of linebacker in his entire life, so that's part of it. So he's got some stuff to work on, but picking up that ball and going, off the Kyler Fackrell sack, who's continued to be a playmaker. Which going into the season, Justin, we said Kyler Fackrell was 4th on the outside linebacker.
You said that. You said that.
I thought you said that too.
No. You had
Lorenzo Carter 4th.
Well, I had Lorenzo Carter 4th, but I genuinely thought that Kyler Fackrell was a better. This is, if Lorenzo Carter was staying here, this would have been wrong. But I put Kyler Fackrell as like a top 2 out of our 4 edge rushers of a guy that could get to the quarterback, and he's shown that. And the thing about Fackrell, and this is the same thing that he did in 2018. He's going along with the same trend. He is hitting the quarterback at the same rate as he is sacking the quarterback. So it's not like he's getting additional pressures, QB hits here and there. When he is hitting the quarterback, it is for sacks and it is for impact plays, which is a very good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And he just fits into that role for Patrick Graham perfectly. It's he can rush the passer. You can put him out an inside linebacker, drop him back into coverage. I mean, he almost had an interception when they ran. They put the running back out at wide receiver, and they put him on a slant and man coverage with Blake Martinez. I was watching Fackrell on that play. I was like, Fackrell's going to drop out, and he's gonna play that running back because they're not going to let Blake get beat a man. Barely misses it. So you like what you got out of him. Now with that, Marcus Golden, man, I don't know what the deal is. They just don't like him. I mean, I think Cam Brown and Carter Coughlin had more total reps than Marcus Golden in this game.
Yeah, we're going to have to look back at the snap share. Don't think that's available yet. And it's actually funny. I don't know how many reps Golden has gotten, but I was looking on NFL Next Gen data, and they have the average separation that's between a pass rusher and a quarterback at the time of release. And Marcus Golden was actually the guy who had the least amount of separation between him and the quarterback when the quarterback releases the ball. Now, that doesn't really mean anything. You know, I would rather, I want to see, what do the quarterback hits look like? What do the pressures look like? What do the knockdowns look like, etc. But that tells me that Golden was still at least collapsing the pocket better than anyone else around him. But if he was only getting limited reps, then it doesn't really matter, unfortunately. So we don't know what the deal is. I would be interested to see if we can get a beat reporter answer from that.
Yeah, that was weird. And Brown and Coughlin, I'll probably put together like a compilation of their snaps to see what they did this week. Holmes left the game, and I'm assuming he got injured.
Yeah.
They put Logan Ryan at slot corner, man, and he looked really good. That was one of the reasons I wanted him to play nickel corner. Now, obviously, he gave up the touchdown on that double move, but overall, like, Logan Ryan looked really good. I mean, he was the guy who made this, playing great man coverage on the 2-point conversion. He got a sack for himself.
Yeah.
He was a really good corner, and that's why I thought he would play nickel corner originally. I'm fine with the way they did it because Holmes has been adequate. He had some bad, had a bad game against San Fran, but Holmes has been adequate for the season. But I like that Ryan, who wasn't practicing at nickel corner this week. You could just throw him in there mid game, and he looked like he was playing nickel all season.
Yeah, the secondary confused me today, and it's one of those things where you have to rewatch it, but even if somebody like me rewatches it, I'm still not fully smart enough to know everything and fully what's going on in the secondary. I think the average fan is much more confident of looking at what linebackers and defensive linemen are doing and if they're winning their individual battles. Bobby, according to CPOE, and we're not going to talk about a lot of advanced stuff for the offense, but CPOE basically is measuring how accurate is a quarterback being from what they are basically expected to do. Kyle Allen had an expected completion percentage of 68% today. His actual completion percentage was close to 75. That's about a +5 difference, which would be the second most accurate game a quarterback had facing the Giants this year. So I was a little disappointed, in the defense overall. I feel like the run defense was not great today.
If you look at the overall numbers, it was good, but they were giving up some. I wasn't blown.
Yeah.
The defense played well today. When you look at it, they gave up only 19 points. And granted, it's a bad team, but they also put 7 points on the board. But it seemed like they were just kind of like letting everything happen underneath, which is weird against a QB like Kyle Allen. You think Kyle Allen, you would be testing him to be like, go out and see what you can do, beat us with your arm. So yeah, that was weird. And
maybe they were afraid of giving up the deep play because they didn't have Colbert and because Julian Love has made some mental mistakes. But if you're asking me, I'm not letting that be the reason to not be aggressive. Again, challenge Kyle Allen to make a throw, and if you allow some big plays down the field, sure, you get upset at the time being, but then you adjust afterwards. This defense has been doing a great job week in and week out, regardless of who they have faced, of not allowing the big play. If there is one thing that I am choosing, and if I'm holding on to, if I'm, if you're someone who's still a little critical of the Giants defense, I am grasping onto that point where the Giants have been a top 5 defense in the National Football League when it comes to not allowing big passing plays and big running plays, especially big passing plays. So that's been the thing that has kept them in games. But today there was an expectation to not bend. Usually this team has done a good job of bending but not breaking, but today there was an expectation of just don't even bend. Don't even allow this Washington team to move the ball down the field. And they did. And I thought it was a little I'm not going to kill them. We won the game. We're celebrating. They did what they had to do. They put the team in a position to win, and they won. So I'm not going to kill them, but still, it's curious. It's curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see what Graham did, some stuff on the back end.
Leonard Williams balled out.
Yeah. Yeah. He continues to be, a sack machine. 3 sacks through 6 games. He had a tackle for a loss, 2 QB hits in this game. I mean, he was He was a beast in this game. Him and Dalvin. Dexter, like I said, it's hard to focus in on each individual player, but it seemed like Dexter Lawrence wasn't doing anything crazy. He had the hit on the 2-point conversion, but Leonard Williams seems to be a beast.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason we both liked him. We argued on some different things, but Justin, what my argument? I remember me and you argued a little bit on his PPP, and I was like, that's fine. He's a good player, but he also needs to get sacks. He can't just be, and that's what he's done. So that's where you feel good. Is like, hey, it's not just the QB hits and the hurries and the pressures and the run stops. He's getting the sacks too, and that's what our expectations were for Leonard Williams, especially with the franchise tender contract.
Yeah, he has no doubt. Regardless of how you feel about the $16 million tag, and regardless of how you're going to feel about the contract that he may possibly get, Bobby, you can from secondary going up towards the defensive line, our three biggest impact players on this Giants defense have been James Bradbury, Blake Martinez, Leonard Williams. They have. Yep. You can love Dalvin, but Dalvin has not put up the same production that Leonard Williams has, and he hasn't had the same impact on the game as Leonard Williams has. So of course, is it worth the $16 million? Probably not, but you need to overpay for good players in the National Football League, and I would not mind at year's end overpaying for Leonard Williams because he's a very good football player.
Right. All right. Is there anything else you want to touch upon the defense? Because the offense, honestly, is the big conversation. I feel dirty waiting 15 minutes to get into the offense.
I'm not concerned about the defense because each week, despite them going up against a lackluster offense, the defense has done what they have had to do to keep us in a football game. And this week they did single-handedly win us the game. So even though it's like, we're biting our nails at saying Kyle Allen had a good game, the rushing game was inconsistent.
It's the NFL. It's the NFL. You get 19
correct.
points and a turnover for a touchdown. You take it every time.
The opposing quarterback is attempting 42 passes and you allowed 19 points. You take it and you run. Especially when an NFL coach is being super aggressive and playing to win the game like Ron Rivera was. The fact that they stood tall when they needed to stand tall, that's a very big testament in an offensive league. So Blake Martinez, a little bit of an injury. Are we concerned? During the game,
he
kind of came
14
back.
tackles, so yeah, we can hit up on some injuries at the end of the pod. Let's get into the offense because I want to talk about this offense. Week 5 and part of Week 6 is now in the books, and it's time to review and get ready for some Monday Night Football, some Week 7. There's no better place to get in all of the action than DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. To add to the excitement of Week 7, DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing back their can't-miss offer. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook yet, head to the App Store now because you don't want to miss this. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new users the chance to receive a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. On top of that great sign-up offer, DraftKings offers great odds boosts every Sunday to help you make it rain. Make it rain. Don't worry if football isn't for you. DraftKings is giving you all you basketball fans a 200% profit boost of any basketball market once you sign up. Kind of weird. There's no basketball going on, but bet on it. Bet on the Nets futures. DraftKings is safe, reliable, and secure. Make it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY when you sign up and get up to $1,000. That's code JOHNBOY to get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 for a limited time only. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Justin, let's talk about the offense. Let's start with some positive. The Giants scored on their first 3 drives. Those are the only drives they scored on, but they scored on the first 3 drives. And, they start the game off with, they running that counter so much in week 5. They run the play action, 21-yard pass to Evan Ingram. Good stuff. Move the ball downfield, and then you're in the red zone, first down. We run a reverse to Darius Slayton. And now it's 2nd and 14. And then they hand the ball off, Justin. And it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. And then They rush 4. They drop 7 back in the coverage. And Jones takes a sack there. I saw people getting mad at Jones for that. It's like, we literally didn't see any of the, like, he takes a sack. We
may have to put a little note that he maybe should have stepped up in the pocket and expanded the play a little bit, because he did have a little bit of a lane. Well, and again, this is Jones's.
I saw defenders there. There were defenders. If he runs, he gets 4 or 5 yards, but it's still not a first down.
Correct.
So he was trying to get the first down. No problem with that. Maybe someone was open when we go and look at the all 22 film, but as for now, no problem with that. You kick 3 points. That's this offense. James Bradbury gets an interception. First down. Run. Second down. So we end up in 3rd and 6. They give us man coverage and they blitz. And Jones got pressure. Matt Parrott, this was the one bad play of Matt Parrott, who we will talk about, him and Andrew Thomas. He gets pressure. He gets hit. He puts a ball to Darius Slayton. On a go ball, man coverage. Seems like that's been there when we've taken that chance. Just saying that it seems like that's been there when we've taken that chance. Teams have, they'll play one safety high. I feel like that was there the rest of the game. We'll get into it. You score a touchdown. And then you go down and drive and kick another field goal. I can't remember. Was there anything bad about that drive that we can muster up?
Well, no, really the only is if this is the same drive where no, this is not the same drive, because the one that my big complaint is literally not going for it on 4th and goal from the 2-yard line.
That is that drive.
Okay.
We get down to the goal
that's
line.
My complaint.
It ends up we ran the screenplay. We ran a screenplay at 1st and goal from the 8 or whatever. Go ahead.
But before that, the Giants have their biggest offensive play of the season so far, 49-yard run by Daniel Jones.
Yes.
And then how do you therefore respond? By running your biggest, most explosive play of the season so far, the poorly designed screenplay to Devonta Freeman that went in the middle of the field. When are you running a screenplay to a running back in the middle of the field where you're
Especially
run stuffing? Yeah, in the red zone where your defensive tackles are more likely occupying that middle of the field. Anyway, so that's your play call on first down. So it's now 2nd and goal from like the 14-yard line.
Yep.
And then you run a halfback run. Yep, a Devonta Freeman maybe 3-4 yard run that really doesn't go anywhere and really doesn't do much for you since it's 2nd and goal. And then 3rd and goal, Daniel Jones makes something happen and puts you at the 2-yard line. And instead of going for it, capitalizing on what is the most explosive play of your season so far on the offensive side of the ball, and Daniel Jones putting you literally, what's 36 times 2? Maybe 72 inches away from scoring a touchdown. You kick the field goal, and then how does Ron Rivera respond? They respond by a touchdown and aggressive play calling and aggressive going for it on 4th down themselves, and it puts the Washington football team right back in the game.
And the draw play makes sense if you're going for it on 4th down, because you gain yards, you're close, you take a chance. But what's the point of were you expecting to score on it? What's the point? What's the point of the draw play if you're not going to go for were you expecting to have a 12-yard touchdown run? Now, damn, it got close, and I wish Nick Gates would have been a little more aggressive on that and just went and got one guy, and then Jones could have ran behind him. But, if I'm making that play call, I'm not expecting to score. I'm expecting to get closer, and then maybe we can go for it on 4th down. I don't understand. I don't understand why we don't go for it there. But nonetheless, you've scored on 3 of your first 3 drives at the half, but you only have 13 points that they call for. Now, they only had 6 drives, so they didn't score after that, Justin. But I agree, man. It's kind of this stuff, and we see in the second half. I mean, we ran the ball 26 times, threw it 19 times. We play called like we had a 21-point lead. Yeah. I mean, we are coaching scared, and I think that goes a little bit on Judge too. I don't, this isn't like a screw Judge episode. I'm just done with Garrett. He's shown who he is. 6 weeks in, he showed even if it gets better and we score points, we've shown who he is as a play caller. He coaches scared. And if that's an indictment on Jones, then that means they should move on from him. And why not just let him go out and sling it at that point?
Yeah.
If you don't trust Jones, then who cares? Let him go out there, sling it, make mistakes. Who cares? Let's see everything he's got. But we'll talk about Jones in a second. It's coaching scared. And then we see in this, like I said, 26 runs to 19 passes in a game where you were up by 10 points at the most. At the most. On 6 drives. So it's not like there was 3 drives at the end of the game that totally, outweighed it. And then on first downs, they passed the ball 6 times. They ran the ball 12 times. Screenplays they had, and then the one screenplay. I didn't count that as a pass play. Justin, now granted, they converted. They converted on pass plays. When they passed the ball on first down, they did it 6 times. They ended up getting a first down 4 of those times for 40 total yards, so 6.6 yards per play. They ran it 12 times. They ended up converting 10 times on those. But also, Justin, they only had 89 yards. That's 7.4 yards per play. Like, oh, that's bigger than the pass plays. Jones was 60 of those yards. So 3 of those were Jones for 60 yards. When it wasn't Jones, it was 9 times for 29 yards. That's 3.2 yards. That's 3.2 yards. That's putting yourself in 2nd and 7. I don't like that. I don't like 2nd and 7. We ran it on 2nd down a good amount. So that's how you have 6. They had 6 drives. That's so little. 6 drives. That is crazy, man. Like I said, Slayton was there. It's just coaching scared. It is coaching scared.
Bobby, the expression that I've used is you're not coaching to win the game. You're coaching to not lose. Frankly, I think coaching scared, yes, but particularly when thinking about it, not going on a 4th down versus going for it on 4th down, you want to put 3 points on the board. I can understand the psychology and the mental part of it, but coaching to win the game, that's what Ron Rivera did today. And what do the Giants have to lose? Now, granted, the most aggressive move that Ron Rivera did lost him the game, but why I get so upset with Joe Judge when he didn't go for it 4th and 2, 4th and goal from the Washington 2-yard line, I would rather have the Washington Football Club go 98 yards with the 2-minute offense and with the 2-minute warning impeding and coming than 70 yards. Because on average, Washington was starting near the 30-yard line, besides the one really nice kick where Graham Gano, it kind of spiked up in the air and it went up in the air, but it didn't go out of bounds. So then, Giants special teams made a good play, but they weren't kicking the ball in the back of the end zone. So Washington was kind of getting up towards the 30-yard line. Bobby, that's a 28-yard difference of starting field position with being in a 2-minute offense. So trust your defense that they're able to make a stop in a 2-minute offense where this Washington offense is not an offense that's going to throw the ball down the field, and have the balls to send your offense out there to try to put your stamp on this game. Bobby, it would have been 17-3. And it's not like we're talking about last week where 17-3 against the deadly Dallas offense, where 17-3 where Dallas is down, that's what we're doing every week, and we're just going to come right back from it. Putting Washington down 17-3 would have been almost a death sentence in this game, and we would have been celebrating the game being over in the middle of the 3rd quarter, and instead it was a nail-biter towards the end. And I'm sorry I'm getting mad. We won. I'm excited we won, but now this is the 2nd game this year where the Giants had an opportunity to win, and this even goes back to the decisions that were made against LA, where Joe Judge did not coach to win the game. And he is all talk about how, he's going to be a tough-nosed, hard-nosed team, and that's going to be the coaching style that he's going to coach. That's false, and he has not lived up to it so far, besides the Dallas game. I'm sorry.
Even like they kicked that field goal there. Okay, you're putting 3 points on the board. You can understand it. What I don't like is the first drive of the second half, we moved the ball a little bit. Now we have 4th and 1 at their 38.
Oh, yeah, that too.
That's the one that's just inexcusable, because here's the thing. If you're not going to go for it, Graham Gano, 55 yards, I'm taking that chance.
That's nothing.
And then we punt the ball, and it went to like their 19. So you took 19 yards. So you gave them 20 extra yards they had to go.
Yeah. Yeehaw. In
an
offensive league,
ended up getting a 3 and stop. It doesn't.
In an offensive league,
I'm going for
19
it there.
yards mean nothing.
But at least kick the field goal.
Yeah.
At least kick the field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, like I said, this isn't a bash judge, but I don't agree with that. And it seems like he is very conservative on fourth downs, where the entire league is becoming more aggressive on fourth downs. And those are, we talk about analytics and stuff. Those are the analytics that I love. Coaching, like situational analytics. I think it's a little harder to judge players with those, but situational in-game analytics, those are the things that should be embraced.
Yeah, my co-host of Bleeding Blue last year, David Powis, he dug up a really good stat. I don't know if you heard it somewhere, or he dug it up himself. The Giants have 10 drives of 10-plus plays this year, and they've scored a touchdown on one of them. Bobby, I've talked on this podcast how difficult it is for teams in the NFL today to have drives of 10-plus plays that end in touchdowns consistently, because it's just so difficult to do that to begin with without a passing game that can give you 15 yards, 20 yards on a play here and there situationally. But the Giants have 10 drives total this year where they have put together good consistent drives of getting chunk plays here, chunk plays there, 4 or 5 yards in the running game here, little curl route, whoever to Evan Ingram, Golden Tate, 7-8 yards on a first down on a pass. They've done it at times, but they only have one touchdown when they have drives that go for at least 10 plays. That is unacceptable. So, and they were even talking about on the broadcast today, well, there hasn't been a lot of punts in this game. And that made me think, no matter how frustrated I get with this offense, at least it's not as bad as 2018, 2017, 2016, where the Giants are just going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and they're constantly punting the ball. What hurts the most about this offense led by Jones is that they are moving the ball. They're not punting the ball a ton, and it's not because they're conservative, and it's not because they're aggressive and they're going for it on fourth down. They're sustaining drives. They're just ending in field goals. And as we've seen so far this year, kicking field goals is not winning football. It is not.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so that's drive 4. Drive 5, they get down there. The third, I actually clipped one of the third down play calls, the one where it was 3rd and 1 and Jones threw to Caden Smith on the flat route where it literally got like 1.25 of a yard. They were in zone coverage, Justin, and we're running man beaters. We're running man beaters versus clear zone coverage. And then on the bottom side, the guys even ran into each other on the slant flat. That doesn't make any sense. We get bailed out by that pass interference on Austin Mack on the 3rd down. And then so it's 1st and goal or whatever it is. 1st and 10 at the 13 or whatever it was. This is the Jones interception. I want to hear you give me your thoughts on that play. Actually, I want to hear what your thoughts are on that, because everything besides that from Jones was fine in a game where he only threw 19 times and ran the ball 7 times for 74 yards. So give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, the thought I almost got a flashback to week 1 where it was a defensive lineman interception against Pittsburgh. I got flashbacks to that where Daniel Jones wanted to throw the ball in the back of the end zone, but he was at this game against Washington, he was just getting hit and just didn't have enough arm strength to get it in the back of the end zone. That's what I think it was. I think he was trying to throw it away, just didn't get enough mustard to put it in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, that's what it was. And now it wasn't an interception. That he was out. No. I mean, I even freeze framed it. He was out. I don't know how the refs they screwed that up on that touchdown where the Washington came for the 2-point conversion. That was a delay of game by a good 2.5 seconds. So
what's the point of instant replay if you're going to make calls like that?
Yeah.
What's the point?
It's brutal. It was just NFL officiating even felt like they needed to tweet out, and they said there wasn't enough. I mean, that was just a bad call, but nonetheless, he did throw it. But also on that play, it's first down in the red zone where you have so much less space to operate.
Yep.
We run a play action, 8-man protection, a 2-man route to the same side in the red zone. That's crazy. And on your 8-man protection, you have Caden Smith in a 1-on-1 with Chase Young. An 8-man protection, and you have Caden Smith blocking Chase Young. What was it, a 1-on-1, or am I misremembering that?
you're probably right. Play action rollouts. All hell breaks loose on play action rollouts in terms of who's allowed in and who's allowed to get pressure on the quarterback. Who's a free reign rusher. All hell breaks loose. And Bobby,
Especially
the frustrating thing is that Daniel Jones is not good running play action in the red zone. He's not. We saw it last year against Minnesota and the Vikings. There were 2 plays that Pat Shurmur called in the red zone where Daniel Jones was play action rollout, and it just doesn't work. I don't know if it's a Daniel Jones thing. I don't know if I don't like it in the NFL in general. There has to be better plays that have to be called there. And it's frustrating that we call play action and we have Evan Ingram going on a crossing route, which, by the way, that had to be the deepest targeted ball that Evan Ingram has caught this year.
It is.
That first play. It 100% is. And then do we go back to it? No. Do we run play action? No. The only time that we run play action is in the red zone, which it makes little sense to run play action in red zone because, like you said, the field shrinks. There's no common sense in this offense. There is no common sense in this offense.
Yeah, which we'll talk about it with Andrew Thompson, Matt Parrott. But if that's what we're doing, and we're holding guys accountable, then Jason Garrett needs to be held accountable. And Justin, do you remember what my actual biggest criticism and earliest of Pat Shurmur was last year?
No, remind
me. It
me.
was, you are the head coach. Go to your defensive coordinator. You are ahead of him, and you tell him to start playing a little ballsier, start taking chances. And it's sad that we have a defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, who takes chances, tries different things. And on offense, we have the biggest pansy of all time offensive coordinator. And people know me, I'm patient, maybe a little too patient. But Jason Garrett, Dan Snyder said it best last week, and it's stuck in my head. His offense is designed to get 10 yards every 3 plays, and that's not successful. And you mentioned
sustainable.
Jones has 3 red zone interceptions. This is a guy who his last 2 years he didn't have a red zone interception, and plenty of touchdowns. No interceptions his last year at Duke or last year with the Giants, and now he has 3 in 6 games. And we're not going to do is Jones the guy? Whoever's the guy, Garrett can't be here, man.
No,
I'm not banging for Shuplinski because I don't know if Shuplinski will be any better. He's never called plays, but that's honestly, more than the 4th down, my biggest criticism of Judge is letting Jason Garrett do this. They have taken a guy who threw 2 touchdowns per game, and he's thrown half a touchdown per game this year.
Yeah. They've taken a guy who...
They're coaching scared. They're afraid of him making mistakes, more of being like, hey, do this.
But the thing is he's still making mistakes even when they're trying to rein him in. So, they have to know that they're not dummies. They have to know that Daniel Jones is still. If the reason for being conservative on the offensive side of the ball is because we don't want Daniel Jones to make mistakes, then at this point they have to know that approach is not working. Daniel Jones is still making mistakes, and he is still not reading whatever is in front of him correctly. You making things easier on him is actually making it harder on him. You want to know what's pretty easy, Bobby? Having your playmakers go up and make a play. And the last few weeks, they've done it for Darius Slayton, when they did it week 1 on the post route, when they did it on the sideline to Darius Slayton multiple times last week, even when Daniel Jones had to improvise and go outside the pocket. When you let him do those things, and when you go up and let your playmakers simply just make a play, doesn't have to be an incredible curl route, an incredible comeback route, doesn't have to be any and all that. There was another play today. Remember how we highlighted after the LA game how Golden Tate was in the slot? This time it was Austin Mack that was in the slot. He basically ran a streak down the field, and Darius Slayton ran an out route or in route, going towards the middle of the field. It was a dig route. They did the same thing in LA, except this time it was Austin Mack in the slot that was stretching the field, pulling the slot corner and the safety. Well, guess what? 2 routes that worked off of each other and making things easier on the quarterback, but deep down the field, Daniel Jones did it. Telling Darius Slayton one-on-one on the outside to just go run a streak and get to the outside shoulder of the cornerback resulted in a touchdown. So the approach of trying to make things easy on Daniel Jones is not working. He went from a quarterback that threw the ball 25% last year, 25% of his passing attempts were 15 plus yards down the field, to now it has to be, at this point, less than 10%. Because, Bobby, there was one passing attempt that went for more than 20 yards today, and that was the Darius Slayton touchdown. One passing attempt that went more than 20 yards down the field, that traveled for more than 20 yards down the field. One.
Yeah.
This is the modern-day NFL. I'm sorry I'm yelling again. We're not in the 1960s, we're not in the 1980s. Bobby, I was even for Bleeding Blue this week looking at games where the Giants previously played Washington, and I looked at the 2005 game, the game after Wellington Mara died, and 2006, the Week 17 winner-go-home game. Giants scored 36 points in 2005, and I believe 34 points Week 17, respectively. And the final score of that Week 17 2006 game was 34-28. Pretty sure the quarterbacks combined for 250 yards passing between the both of them. And the rushing games just exploded those games. That's not the game that we're playing anymore. And that's how Jason Garrett is coaching and calling plays.
Yeah, it sucks we're doing this on after a win. We won.
I'm sorry.
I know. I get it. Listen, it's all valid. You know, we beat Washington by 1 point. Our offense only put up 13 points. You know, it's valid. You know, just obviously we're happy to have a win, and this feels a lot less worse with a win. But 13 points is bad. It's bad. Let's talk about Andrew Thomas and Matt Parrott. So it comes out right before the game that Andrew Thomas isn't starting. Immediately, I'm like, whoa. Then I'm like, okay, he must have broken some kind of rule. That's exactly what happened. He was suspended for the first quarter because he was late to Saturday night's team meeting. And that's one meeting you don't want to be late for. That's the entire team together, head coach speaking. You're late to that, it's very noticeable. It's very noticeable. So Matt Parrott comes in. He plays well. Granted, this was a game I was expecting Thomas to have a good game because of who, like, Montez Sweat was out there. I know Montez Sweat has been good, but I wasn't worried about Sweat. Parrott had one, like, okay, that was a bad play. He actually got Jones hit on the touchdown pass to Slayton. Thomas comes back in. Thomas was better than Parrott in the run game, besides one play.
And it was a third down. It was a big play.
Besides one play. Now, Mark Schlereth was totally wrong, where he's like, he took the wrong step. That's a hinge block. In fact, that was actually the block. If you look at my week 1 breakdowns, Becton hasn't been in, but that Becton got beat on that like 4 or 5 times. But he gets beat on it, and then they bench him for the next drive and then put him back in. If this is a one-game thing, I'm okay with that. But you can't be benching a guy for a bad play going forward, especially your rookie 4th overall pick. Because if that's the case, then we need to bench Fleming after plays. We need to bench Zeitler and Hernandez after bad plays for Lemieux. You can't go. I get that he got in trouble. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But if they are going to go forward saying, "Hey, we're going to if you screw up on a 3rd down, we're benching you." That's horrible coaching. That makes a guy play different because that makes you lose all your confidence. Now, the first him not being out there for the first quarter doesn't make him lose his confidence. In fact, it's probably good for him. Like, hey, dude, this is the NFL. You can't be late for crap. But if they go forward and like, hey, you like switching drives, you can't do that. If Fleming gave up a sack. If you want to play Parrott, play him at right tackle going forward. He looked pretty good. Like I said, this Washington left side, Chase Young is a whole different monster. But I wasn't worried about Montez Sweat, because the things that Sweat were doing good were the things that made Thomas the 4th overall pick. Long arms and just relying on getting around the edge. Thomas, You're not going to beat him like that. Parrott, you're not going to beat him like that either because he's got those long arms and he's got his sight. But I will say, Parrott looked good. I wasn't ready to play Parrott. Now I am. Go ahead and play him. But Thomas, the one bad play, this is the NFL, that's what he'll get remembered for. But in the past game, he was fine. In the run game, when they're like he was moving guys, like he continues to. Like I said, I figured it was suspension. The benching him after one drive, I'm kind of iffy on, but I get it's a different type of game when you suspend him. But you know what? Why not play Matt Parrott at right tackle?
Yeah, if anything, the mid-game, because of a bad play, benching should be done to the veteran, especially Cam Fleming, who is a veteran that has been a swing tackle / sixth man on the offensive line. Cam Fleming is very used to coming in and out of a game, and Cam Fleming is also at a point in his career where a singular move to take him out for a series or two won't derail his confidence. Bobby, they must really like Cam Fleming. They must really like him, because why are they spelling reps away from Thomas if they, do you understand where I'm going with that? I think they really like Fleming.
Where it's different is it is a one-game thing. Like I said, it's a one-game thing. They did actually spell, Fleming.
They did.
Against the Rams,
At the end of a half.
If it's a one-game thing because he did get suspended for the first quarter, and then they're like kind of like, this is our coming hard. But next week, if Thomas misses a block on a third down against the Eagles in the second quarter and he's benched the next game, then I'm out on that. That's dumb.
Yeah.
That is dumb. And I know people are going to be like, hey, Parrott should be the left tackle going forward. Relax.
Yeah.
Relax. So
yeah, the main point that I had stemming into this game and seeing Matt Parrott's name, it's ironic how I've seen Matt Parrott's name the most on Giants Twitter the last 3 days than I've ever seen ever before. It's ironic how I said he did look good.
He looked good. So I'm excited. I've went from, hey, we should pump the brakes to play him at right tackle. Right tackle. I'll break him down more. I went back and watched after the game. I'm going to watch every rep of just these guys. I'm not going to look at anything else. I just want to look at the left tackle spot. And the one bad play is going to define Thomas's game along with the suspension. And he's going to hear the noise, man. This is New York. He's going to hear the noise. Yeah.
So, Bobby, only one sack today for 4 yards. And actually, we talked about
20
Ryan
attempts.
Well, I know. Hey, any silver linings we can take, especially if people are probably really mad at me listening to the show. Why are you so negative after a loss? So I needed to have that little positive spin there.
Well, actually, PFF's I'm happy that numbers I think are wrong. They're wrong, but I saw be like only 6 pressures. It's like, yeah, but there was only 19 dropbacks, and then there was 20 dropbacks and one was a sack. Yeah. So that's like 30%. Yeah. Now PFF is wrong, so I'm not gonna rank hail on that, but yeah, I don't know. We won. Damn it! I hate how negative this offense has made us because we freaking won the damn game.
So really, why I'm glad that we have a Thursday night game is, like I said, you feel dirty after winning this game. Yes, a win is a win. We're celebrating the win, but leaving that game, you can't deny as a Giants fan that you're leaving. You're feeling a little dirty. You're not feeling right. This should have been a game that maybe won a little bit more, and you would have loved to see them take advantage of a bad football team in a good way, in a positive way. It's not like we won this kind of game against the Rams or the Bears, where we're like, oh, we're feeling really good if we win this type of game against the Rams or the Bears. But if it's against Washington, you're feeling a little dirty. But why I'm so glad that this is a quick Thursday night turnaround. Did the Eagles almost come back against the Ravens today?
Yeah, but they didn't. They didn't make it happen.
They didn't. Okay, but they didn't.
A lot of guys didn't make it happen today.
They didn't make
it
happen.
See my thread I did? Because people were... One, I muted the words Trevor Lawrence and Tank from my timeline, which actually made things more enjoyable. But I saw everyone being... I was just happy. So you know Daniel Tosh's stand-up where he's talking about if he had a touchdown celebration where he would point around and then me. So I was like, this is Daniel Jones. He's the one who won the game. Just trolling. And then I did with Joe Burrow throwing an interception after blowing a lead on a potential game winning drive. Got to make it happen, Joe Burrow. Carson Wentz didn't make it happen. I think Baker got benched today. He didn't make it happen. Guys, I don't know why. Do they not see Jones make it happen today? Why didn't they make it happen? You got to freaking make it happen. Jones made it happen today. These other guys didn't. They didn't. Joe Burrow. Make it happen.
7
Look
carries.
at Jones. Make
7
it happen.
carries.
That is another thing. We joked after the Chicago game that Daniel Jones is the leading rusher. He's going to be the leading rusher on this team. He is. Yeah. 7 carries for 74 yards today. He's going to... he was already the leading rusher, and he led again. And then the running backs, had 19 carries for 58 yards, 3.05 yards per carry.
Yeah, not
Sheesh,
good.
Man.
Not good. Not good. But my whole point is very, very glad that we have a Thursday night game because it's a quick turnaround. Don't string me along on my emotional my emotional heartstrings, okay? Thursday night, are we going to win? And are we actually going to talk about, like, hey, can we do something here? Are we going to win and we can talk about, like, next week? Or are we going to lose and it's just going to be like, oh, okay, we're done and we're back to being done and we could not be emotionally invested. So that's why I'm happy that this quick little Thursday turnaround, good. I'm happy that this is the week that it's happening.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad CJ Board's not dead. That was scary.
Yeah.
We're down to 3 wide receivers right now.
Who are we bringing up?
We need to carry 5 wide receivers. I know we haven't made a big deal about that because it'd be like, oh, you guys are whining. But why the hell are we not carrying 5 wide receivers? I've never seen a team consistently carry 4 wide receivers. Is that not nuts to you? Especially when we have Eric Tomlinson as inactive every week. Every week we have a 4th tight end inactive, and we don't have a 5th wide receiver. That's nuts to me. I don't get it, especially at a position where you find gems here and there. Why the hell do we not have 5 wide receivers? Especially if one goes down. Like, if Tate goes down, it's like we don't have a slot receiver.
They're basically benching Tate, which I found that to be, for somebody who is not a Tate fan, I found that to be pretty hilarious that Golden Tate, who's earning $10 million this year, is basically benched. And the only reason why we're putting him out there is because we have to, because we have no other physical, warm-bodied human beings to line up on the football field. So, yeah, you would think that they would learn by now that, Sterling Shepard's going to be back next week, probably by Thursday.
Hopefully.
So that's probably going to be the addition by subtraction that's going to happen there. So
yeah, and just let Shepard play the slot. Let him be where he's best is the slot position. Actually,
and then Golden Tate can just occupy space.
Yeah. Give Golden Tate a jump ball. He made those last year.
Timeout. First of all, I love how he ran a wide receiver screen today to Caden Smith. Wasn't that hilarious? It worked, but wasn't that hilarious how we haven't ran like a single wide receiver screen today, but we did one today to Caden Smith, and it worked.
Yeah, got 6 yards.
Maybe it's 10 yards if it's a wide receiver who can actually be quick off of from going 0 to 5 miles an hour, go a little bit quicker than Caden Smith can.
Yeah. All right, we won.
Fucking Jason Garrett. I'm sorry I just dropped an F-bomb.
Be happy. Enjoy the next few days. We don't know how many of these we're going to get this year. We'll talk about stuff. We'll break down the film. We'll figure this out, and then quick turnaround. This week, because it is a Thursday night game, we will not have a mailbag cleanup episode. We will have our Thursday preview show, so you only have one day to listen to that. And then Friday we'll have a podcast out after the game, so we'll be up late recording. Hopefully it's a win, because late night recordings after a loss suck. After a win, it's like, let's do it, baby. Let's do it. But anyways, Giants win, man. If the Cowboys lose, we are 1 game back in the division. So how about that? How about that?
Don't pull at my emotional heartstrings. Get me to Thursday. Is it going to be legit? We going to win? All right, let's rock and roll from there. And if not, and if this past Sunday was just like,
third place
is what it
division.
is, then we move on.
Third place. We're not getting the first pick now. I mean, look how bad the Jets are.
Oh, they're so bad.
Yeah, so we're guaranteed to not get the first pick.
I had this take on Twitter today. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to pull a Peyton Manning. And it's funny that Peyton Manning did this same exact thing because the Jets had the number 1 pick. Trevor Lawrence is going to pull a Peyton Manning, stay in school an extra year because he does not want to go to the Jets.
He should. Luck stayed in an extra year. He really, honestly should. He honestly should. Jets suck. Imagine being the losers like the Jets. What losers? What a losing team. Imagine being a loser like the Jets. Wow. Gosh, sorry that I'm just a winner. All right, that's an episode. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back Thursday, but obviously we'll have all the other stuff up on YouTube and Twitter and all that good stuff. Instagram, Facebook. We appreciate you guys. Enjoy Victory Monday. Enjoy Victory Monday. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Until then, let's go Big Blue.